Hi, everyone. Welcome to the VoyerPOD. We've finally got here. We finally started it. This is conservative media for young people, something I don't see a lot around about. Today, I am joined with my very special guest, Matt Thornton. He's a commentator. He has all types of ideas. We work together in the media, so I thought he'd be the perfect person to start this podcast off with. A lot of opinions. We're always behind the scenes, and I think we need to bring them up to earth. Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I can't believe we're going up in the world. I remember when we were just in a little meeting room in wherever that was.
Yes, that podcast will never see the light of day,
No?
hopefully. I think I unleashed a little bit too much on there. We're going to do pop culture. We're going to do politics. I'm going to have a special guest every week. I hope Matt will be a reoccurring guest on this. I hope you guys like him as much as I do. And yeah, each episode will be breaking down the headlines and we'll be challenging the status quo. We're also going to look at trends. So we're going to do a reaction as well. And if we have time, we will be doing an advice, am I the asshole question. We've got some really funny ones coming up, but also ones that you might relate to. Let's start off strong on something I'm really, I'm just upset about. And I just feel like no one else is saying this. Barbie.
What about it? What's going on?
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't. I never got round to it. Can I tell you something about
You're
Barbie?
the one person who hasn't watched it.
I don't think it's for me. I don't think it was made with Matt Thornton in mind, you know? So I
don't think it was made with men in mind in general.
No, exactly. That's why, you know.
I think basically Barbie needs to get a grip. Look what's happened this week. Basically, Barbie got snubbed by the Oscars. So Barbie's caused a stir after this year's Oscar nominations were announced and Ryan Gosling was nominated, but co-star Margot Robbie and director Greta Gerwig failed to get a mention. Ryan Gosling's come out and he's had to make a formal statement to say, I'm disappointed, and it would have been an understatement to say that. So he's basically
Wow. I can't believe I was nominated for an Oscar. Wow. I'm Ryan Gosling. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's even having to cover his Oscar glory because, you know, they're so upset. And just as I was coming here, I saw that Hillary Clinton on her Instagram has made a statement. I'm going to pop it up on the screen.
She's pandering.
Yeah, she's completely pandering.
And it's like, why does Hillary Clinton have an opinion about the Oscars?
And why does she need to as well? She says, Greta and Margot, while it can sting to win the box office, but not take home the gold, your millions of fans love you.
She's familiar. She's familiar with not taking home the gold. Poor Hillary.
Burn. You're both so much more than Ken enough. Hashtag Hillary Barbie.
Isn't it Kenuff? You're Kenuff.
Ken enough?
Not Ken enough.
Ken enough?
Kenuff. You're good Kenuff.
I don't know, and what's more, I don't care. I want to come out and say it was a crap movie. Barbie was horrific.
Why'd you say that? Because I've heard so much. Everyone's told me it's a great film, and I never got round to it because it's not my thing, you know. Shockingly enough, I'm not interested in Barbie.
It was terrible writing, terrible execution of a feminist idea. It's not a feminist idea to sort of, first of all, Margot Robbie, that's not exactly what I think of when I think of feminism. I mean, she literally is the perfect male gaze woman. Like, when I think of a perfect woman in a man's eyes, I'm thinking Margot Robbie. I'm pretty sure you are too.
Who else should have played Barbie?
Well, Amy Schumer was on the books.
No, she was not.
Yeah, she was. She was meant to be Barbie. It just didn't work out, which honestly, thank God, because I think that the public uproar would have been massive. Barbie is not an Oscar-worthy film. There's Oppenheimer that it's in the same category as. There's all these different great films that would have been much better, and I think that it's just salty because it wasn't nominated. It's not an Oscar-worthy film. It's a gimmick. It's about plastic dolls, for Christ's sake.
So why is Ryan Gosling got a nomination?
It's a good question. It's probably because, I mean, I tried to watch it on the plane. I will admit I got about 3/4 of the way through.
You didn't even finish it?
No. And not on it. That was on a 17-hour flight back to Australia, so you can really tell how bad it was that I couldn't even get through it.
It's 20 hours long.
Ryan was the standout. I mean, his song was a really good thing. His acting was amazing. I think Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie casted him brilliantly in that, but it actually kind of defeated the purpose because his character was so much better than all the others and actually had more of a backstory and more depth than Barbie itself. So I think they shot themselves in the foot here. I do think that with the script and everything, Ryan Gosling deserved the Oscar, but none of the others. But yeah, we've got films like Poor Things. Have you seen that?
No.
Did you see Oppenheimer?
No.
You haven't seen? Do you watch films?
I don't watch much TV or film. I listen to music.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
And I watch the news.
Fair enough.
And that's about it.
For those who care, Oppenheimer's going to sweep the Oscars. Barbie was a crap movie, and I don't think anyone should be surprised that it wasn't nominated.
I just find it ironic that, Ken is meant to be Barbie's accessory, but in the end, Ken's got the, Oscar nomination.
Yeah, well, that's what everyone's tweeting. So some have said, basically that it's proving the point of what Barbie said because Ken has risen above and.
But was Ken ever meant to triumph? Well, he's just an accessory, isn't he?
Yeah, he's meant to be, but clearly, they preferred him. And the Oscars know what they're doing. I mean, I think that being upset that a film like Barbie didn't get an Oscar nomination shouldn't have been this worldwide thing. If anyone's actually seen the movie, they would know that it's terrible. It's terrible writing, and it actually isn't a good representation of feminism.
There you go.
Trump wins Iowa and New Hampshire caucus. Vivek Ramaswamy drops out. Will Trump win 2024? Now, guys, we're very lucky today. We've actually got an American citizen in the studio. So I did want to pick your brains about what you were thinking about all this. I mean, we can really get into it. There's a lot to unpack.
I mean, look, Trump, I think he's the first candidate to have won Iowa and New Hampshire since the 70s. So, this is big news. I mean, it hasn't happened in almost 50 years. Obviously, Vivek was the first to drop out. Do you know what? He's grown on me. He's grown on me. I like Vivek as well.
Yeah, his little TikToks in the car with Arjun.
I don't watch TikToks, but I like that he never stabbed Trump in the back, whereas Ron.
Yeah, he didn't.
Ron did that, and that wasn't very cool of Ron.
And now Ron's crawling back for a little bit of Trump love.
But it looks like Trump's forgiven him. Did you see the clip of Trump's? I don't know where he is. He's at something, but the reporter asks him, "What do you think of Ron DeSantis?" And Trump says, the name Ron DeSanctimonious is retired. I love it. That made me happy, man.
No, I think DeSantis, he was such an early front runner, and people did really have faith that he could probably get the Republicans through. But then he kind of lost a lot of his mojo, and it was just revealed that he was not the greatest public speaker. He just didn't have the pizzazz.
I disagree. I think he does have pizzazz, but I think where he went wrong was stabbing Trump in the back, because Donald Trump was crucial in him getting the Florida governorship, and to turn around and stab him in the back after that isn't very cool, Whereas what I like about Vivek is he's stayed true to Trump.
Yeah, he has stayed loyal. I think he's really vying for the VP position. I think he really wants it.
I've heard people say that they want DeSantis as the VP. I mean, what do you think of that? I'd rather Vivek. I want Vivek. He's got a lot more energy. There's more mojo to him,
Absolutely. And I also think Vivek doesn't have another job, it seems. Vivek's just going around on his tour bus doing his thing. Whereas, look, what I'll give DeSantis is that he does a good job of running Florida. And I think he should stay running Florida. I think that he's good at that. I think that's his limit. I don't think he could probably run a country.
I think he could.
Okay.
He could be president. I could very much see him president.
What are the two most likable things about DeSantis?
He's like Donald Trump, but not quite.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that's it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And that's, I think, actually why Trump has been so popular. It's because people don't actually vote on policy. They vote on feelings. And I think that that's very obvious with how the Republican Party. So why do you think
people have voted for Nikki Haley? I don't know anyone who's got very strong feelings about her.
I want to confront this front on. I'm talking to the camera right now because I'm talking to the audience. I went semi-viral on TikTok because I basically created an expose video that exposed Nikki Haley as her real identity, Nimarata. She's Indian. She's fully Indian.
Yeah.
Most Americans didn't know that. I got 3 million views because no one knew.
Do you have a problem with that?
Well, I'm half Indian myself, and I think I feel like what do the woke, people call it? I pass as white, would you say?
White passing, yes.
I'm white passing, like Nikki. But I haven't gone and changed my entire identity. I've still got an Indian last name. I've still got my first name's kind of mangled. But I'm not pretending to be someone that I'm not.
Do you have an Indian surname?
Yeah, that's an Indian surname.
Gill.
Yeah.
Like the fish breathing thing.
Yes. It's a very Indian, like, it's like being called, like, Brown. It's like a last name Brown. It's very popular in India.
See.
Yeah, I'm not changing my identity. She's fully, I mean, it's really funny.
Well,
'Cause Trump
isn't
calls her
Haley
Nimarata.
Haley's her husband's name, isn't it?
Yeah, she's taken that on. She's taken on the Christian faith. It looks like she's even whitewashed her kids. She's basically assimilated them out by marrying a white dude.
You sound quite angry about that.
I actually
I don't see any.
No, I am. Because
She's got a family.
Yeah, but Vivek.
I love Vivek.
Yeah, but he only got 8% of the vote. And look, let's be real. I don't think with the current voter base, he probably could get through with the Indian heritage. I think one of the main things was that he's a practicing Hindu, and that's a big issue.
So why then do you think he should be VP?
I think he should be VP because he's fantastic. He's got great policies on China and Russia. But
would people vote for him?
No, he got 8%. So that's why he dropped out. I think that also could be the reason that Trump won't take him on, because he won't bring enough voters, but it doesn't look like Trump's actually got an issue bringing in voters. So do you think Haley's going to drop out, or do you think she's going to keep going? Because her whole thing is like, I'm not like Trump. I'm the bastion of democracy.
She'd have to come to her senses pretty soon, because I mean, I don't see any way that she could possibly win. At the moment, it's like, do you remember when all the Bernie Sanders voters, when Bernie was running in the Democratic primary, they were like, there is still a way. There's still a way he can get in, guys. It's going to happen, I swear. It's Nikki Haley voters are starting to look a bit like that now, you know? It's a bit weird. They need to get over it.
Yeah, I think that also, I think she infuriates the Trump base and actually like kind of builds them back up. Like in his speech, he just said she had a very bad night. She came in third and she's still hanging around. He basically wants her gone. And Vivek has a very similar hatred for Nikki Haley, but I think that's like also some deep-rooted Indian thing as well, because she's like a fellow Indian.
It always comes back to Indians.
I know, with me it does.
You should get that checked out, man.
Okay, so as an American,
yes,
you're a young person.
Yes.
Who are you voting for, or who's looking like they're going to get your vote?
I see myself voting for Donald Trump again.
Again.
All I did it. I did it in 2020. I did it in 2020. I got sent 2 ballots in that election. Yeah.
Talk about voter fraud.
Yeah. I only used one. I kept the other as a souvenir.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I'll probably vote for.
Why does Trump appeal
Trump
to you
again.
as a young person?
Oh, I just like him. He's got some good energy about him. He's a funny lad. And do you know what? Actually, I was quite let down by his first presidency, but I think he'll mean business the second time round.
Let down how?
Well, he just didn't really get very much done, and you know, he
didn't start
led
any
America.
wars.
No, correct. I agree with that.
He didn't start any wars.
But I don't know. He mishandled COVID. The whole lockdowns thing was a terrible idea, and he didn't do anything to try to stop it. And yeah.
I feel like people have totally forgotten about that, though.
Yeah.
I think people look, hindsight
yeah,
is
people have totally forgotten about that. And it's like, look.
Yeah, people
it was
have
a bad
about,
idea, man.
Yeah, I know. People have forgotten about everything Trump did, which was bad. But I think the issue is that the country is in a worse state now than when he left it. So I think, and also Biden is half dead. He's basically falling off the stands, shaking hands with people that aren't even there.
Who's really in control?
It's kind of like the lesser evil at this point.
But who's really in control of Biden?
Oh my God, what's your theory?
I don't know. I don't have one. I just like listening to other people's.
My theory of Biden, I just think that he needs to like stand down. He's not okay. And I do also think
and have Kamala as the presidente.
Oh my God. I saw her on The View the other day. She was horrific. The View, have they lost all journalistic integrity? They didn't even question her about anything. She's basically resurfaced after 4 years. Have you seen anything of her these past 4 years? Like anything? Any speech? Did she leave the office?
The thing is, right, I haven't heard anything from her, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, her like weird laugh and her cooking recipes and stuff. It's just...
She's a weird woman, isn't she? She's got problems.
Yeah, I was actually excited when she first got elected. I thought she was kind of like the younger one. Joe Biden always uses these people in order to sort of like say, I'm not a white man because I have Barack by my side.
That's interesting. But do you think Joe Biden does that, or is it just his handlers do that? Do you think Joe Biden is really conscious about...
Well, he's always like pretending to go to the cookout and stuff. He's like posing as a African-American person, but he's really
minus the blackface.
No, but he thinks he has the base under lock. Like, he said something the other day about no black person would vote for a Republican, and it's are you so out of touch?
Did he say that again? Because he said that a few years ago.
Yeah. He said it again. Yeah. He said it again. It's like he's so comfortable in the fact that he has the black vote, and I just don't think that's true.
That's definitely not a good look, is it?
Yeah, no. The whole thing is turning into real, like, it's kind of heading to disaster territory. I do understand why everyone likes Trump. There's lots of elements about Trump that I like. I mean, I really wanted Vivek to win in my heart, but I also knew it wasn't going to happen. So
you did seem pretty convinced. You sounded like one of those Bernie bros for a second, you know. I promise, Matt, he's going to win.
Yeah, well, as I said, his TikToks were winning me over. I think he really appeals to the younger voter, and he actually knows what he's doing, and he hasn't got that sort of baggage of being like a has-been politician, or like Biden. He's been in office so long. I reckon Trump will make Vivek his VP because the South Asian vote in America is quite a big one, and I reckon Vivek
You reckon people will just vote for him because his name's Vivek?
I reckon they won't vote for him because his name's Vivek. I think that's an issue, and I think that's why he hates Nikki Haley, because Nikki has managed to successfully trick a lot of people into thinking she's some sort of like true blue American, whereas Vivek can't really,
I think you can be a true blue American and Indian.
I think you can be too, but it's different with the American base. No, I mean they want like a Donald Trump. He represents America.
Does he? I mean, you know, his granddad's German. His grandparents.
All right.
I think.
All right. You're the one who's voting for him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to voting for him.
No, but you're right. You're right. When you look into any American, unless you're Native American, is an immigrant, and I think people need to remind themselves of that. But yeah, it's also, I think we forget that it is immigrants that are usually the most nationalistic. I think Vivek's got a lot of that. But at the moment, it's just looking like Trump. 54.4% of the votes, basically, smashing Nikki Haley.
It wasn't even really close, was it?
Yeah, it was never. So it looks like we're just snowballing into Trump 2024.
But would he win the presidency?
Against Biden, yeah, I reckon.
What about against Gavin Newsom? He's a dreamboat.
He is, like, he's perfect. Like everything, his teeth, like his
I know.
hair, everything. Oh, okay. What do you think about Gavin Newsom?
I think he looks like a vampire.
I don't know about Gavin Newsom. The thing is, everything I hear about Los Angeles, which is, you know, what he's controlling at the moment, Los Angeles is a shit show with basically like dumpster fires everywhere, Skid Row, homelessness, crime, no one doing anything about it. So I'm not really going to trust someone who's managing Los Angeles to be managing the country. So I don't really think.
Isn't he the governor of California?
Yeah.
It's not just Los Angeles. I mean, he's the governor.
True, he's the governor of California, but you know,
they're all dumps.
Well, yeah. So we're really going to trust Gavin Newsom with America? Like, that's why DeSantis is appealing, because he kind of got Florida out of the gutter.
Florida's a great place to live.
Yeah, it is. Like, low taxes. He didn't do the lockdowns.
He apologized.
I just don't like him. I just don't think he's authentic.
What if he
enough.
said, Donald Trump, I'm sorry?
DeSantis has stepped out. That's the thing.
No, I know, but could you welcome him back into the Republican fold?
Yeah, I would. I just don't think he'll ever be president. He doesn't have that charisma.
I think he does. He will be. He'll be president in 10 years.
He said it there. And Vivek will be president.
Vivek will be vice president.
Yeah, Vivek.
In 10 years.
But no, Vivek will be vice president this year. I'll definitely have you on again to discuss that, my fellow American. But at least we know where your vote is. It will be for Trump, and I think a lot of other people. So moving on. Trans golfer Haley Davidson wins women's tournament and increases chances of becoming an LPGA qualifier. So this is an interesting one. I'll get some photos up of Haley Davidson just because, in my opinion, she doesn't look like a woman at all. She became the first ever male-born golfer to win a women's professional event 3 years ago and has tasted even more success in 2024. She basically appeared on Good Morning Britain a couple of days ago and said it's an undisputed fact men are physically stronger than women. And then basically said that she was not as strong as women because she's been on hormones for about 5 years. What do we think of this?
I don't think that's accurate, is it? As in that you're not at an advantage despite being on hormones for 5 years.
I don't think that's accurate at all, especially with something like golf.
Yeah.
That's not
That's like muscles and bone density.
The power of your thrust.
Oh yeah, your swing. I mean, it's not even comparable. But this comes into all the other trans sports, controversies. You had that swimmer in the US. Oh, what was his name? Her name. Leah Thomas. Of course, for me, especially when it comes to college sports in the US, a lot of these young women, they take up swimming or golf or baseball or whatever it is. And, they'll approach these universities trying to get in. And the unis will say, yeah, you can have you can be sponsored or whatnot. But you have to reach this certain level in your sport so you can be part of our sports team. And now if women are losing out on that, being beaten by a trans woman, I mean, I totally get why they're pissed off,
Yeah, I mean, there's literally no place for men in women's sports, and I will stand by that.
What about as commentators?
As commentators, absolutely.
What about as referees?
Yeah, sure.
What about as spectators?
Sure, but not on the pitch. Oh my God.
Referees are on the pitch.
Okay, that's all fine, but in competition, there is no space. Women already have it hard enough getting sponsorships, getting views, getting everything like that, and there is no space for it. Men have an unfair advantage physiologically, and it is completely,
Is it an unfair advantage? It's
Yes.
just the way that it is.
Do you know what's interesting? And I'd like to bring this up, Matt.
Yeah, go on.
Name me one woman who has turned into a man and now competes in sport.
I can't.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm starting to sort of say, okay, that's totally fine. We've got all these men turning into women, becoming hugely successful. Like Leah Thomas was never a great swimmer in the men's division. Suddenly she turns
But now
trans,
she's number one.
and she's number one. She's winning all the scholarships, all the awards. I'm just really thinking it's really unfair. And with Haley Davidson, this golfer that we were talking about, she's actually now gone and secured a scholarship that is offered for growth opportunities to female players.
Scholarship, that was the word I was looking for.
Scholarship.
Not sponsorship, scholarship, thank you.
Yeah, so scholarship. So she's gone and taken a very prestigious scholarship only given to 30 people.
Is it specifically for women? The
Yeah,
scholarship.
specifically for women to support growth opportunities.
See, I take issue with that, because it is specifically designed for women. I think there should be a different scholarship for, trans women or trans men.
There should be different divisions. Trans people can
And
compete
for regular men.
Well, trans people can compete against each other. We can have a separate league where we have the trans people. And yes, I know the argument will be there's not enough trans people to create their own league at the moment. But
you could say that about how women's sports was 40 years ago, Maybe interest in women's football wasn't half of what it is now. I mean, obviously, it's not even half of what it is now. Women's football is huge. Well,
absolutely.
It's getting there. But,
yeah.
You need to start somewhere. And I think, why not start now while it's controversial?
I think
start a league.
I think it's completely unfair. And it's like, where do we draw the line with this stuff?
What do you think the solution is?
The solution is to ban trans men from women's sports. I think that there's no place.
And say they can only take part in men's sports?
They just need their own league.
Right.
And at the moment, while there isn't enough of them to create their own league, they need to probably just wait it out, in my opinion, because at the moment they're taking opportunities from women and they are winning all these tournaments for a reason, because they physiologically have male muscles, male hormones. We really need to draw the line, because then stuff like this, people like Haley Davidson will keep winning and it will become the normal thing. I feel like as a man, it's hard for you to have an opinion, because
for me, it's like I don't really pay much attention to women's sports anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I just play football and I just go to the gym and I swim sometimes.
Fair enough. Next topic. This is something I'm sure you'll know a lot about, Matt. Mob wives. What do you know?
What is a mob wives? What is this?
A mob wife.
Is this like a helicopter parent?
Not really.
No? Oh.
Let me read it. Clean girl is out. Mob wife aesthetic is in. Countless videos, including parodies and stitched commentaries, begin. Key elements of the mob wife aesthetic include fake and vintage fur coats, animal prints, messy hair, heavy makeup, dark eyeliner, red or acrylic French nails, and lots of gold chunky jewelry.
It sounds like Cruella de Vil. Did you ever watch 101 Dalmatians?
Yes, of course.
It sounds like her.
Yeah, this is exactly
is that what it's meant to be? Right, okay.
TikTok users express a love for this trend due to the boss attitude.
Cruella de Vil was evil.
Mob wife. Yeah, it's weird that the aesthetic of mob wife has become like a thing. I see it all over TikTok. We'll put up some videos.
This is mob as in organized crime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's now an aesthetic. That's so true. Organized crime is now an aesthetic.
I think it always has been. Would you not agree?
Yeah, true. And like Goodfellas and like Godfather, etc. Like men
Peaky
definitely.
Blinders.
Yeah, Peaky Blinders. I totally get it. But what I am going to say is that the mob wife aesthetic is one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. Unless you're like a waif with like, and 6 foot. If you're wearing a chunky fur coat and like gold chains, you look like a marshmallow. I hate it. I really don't like it.
What's the point of it? Is it to say, piss off to men, or is it to please men?
No, it's part of this thing with TikTok where we've got a different trend every single month. Like last month, it was clean girl aesthetic. Then it was blueberry nails. You paint your nails blue. Now it's mob wife aesthetic. And it's part of this whole thing of like, it's kind of what we're talking about with the trans thing, but it's a reduction of what it is to be a female. Like girl math. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of that. What does it even mean?
So girl math is like when you buy something like a bag or something and you justify it in your head saying, oh, I'll wear it 5 times and so it will only
therefore
cost...
it's £10 per wear.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, exactly. What do you think of all these girl dinner? Girl dinner is a whole other thing.
What is girl dinner? That just sounds like a plate of vegetables or something.
Basically, it's like if you get like basically little picky bits instead of making a full dinner. I just don't understand this reduction.
Just make a meal. Eat your food. It's food.
Why, when it's always a female thing, does it have to be so girl coded? And it really.
But I've seen boy dinner as well, where it's just a plate of rice and a big old steak on top of it as well. I mean, I think I've seen it called boy dinner, but maybe it might be to take the piss out of the whole girl dinner thing.
Because it's a female thing, we then need to say, oh, girl dinner, mob wife.
I never cared for that whole aesthetic anyway. Heavy makeup, dark eyeliner, fur coats. Hello.
Yeah, from a male perspective, what do you think about that?
I like the fur coat actually. I don't care for heavy makeup or animal prints. Animal prints are tacky.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but they are gross.
That's the thing. People are making themselves tacky on purpose and being like, "Oh, mob wife aesthetic, more consumerism. Oh, now you need to buy a fur coat. Now you need to do this."
What's the next look?
Supermarket hobo.
Supermarket hobo.
Yeah,
I see you're already.
Oh, shut up. I think it's gonna be like something like homeless person chic or like
that's heroin chic, isn't it? Have you heard that?
Yeah, that's
I love
already
heroin
a thing.
chic.
Yeah, because of Ozempic and stuff. That's come back.
Is there a mob husband look?
That's the thing. I feel like if you started dressing like a mobster, I don't know how.
How would I do that? What do I need to do?
The
trench coat
works. The haircut works. You probably need mob husband. Ooh,
they wear like trench coats,
suit,
don't they?
A trench coat, yeah.
I have a pimp
suit.
I have like a light blue suit that makes me look like a pimp.
Yeah, I reckon go around and go find your mob wife somewhere. I'm sure there's like the London clubs are going to be full of people now wearing like massive fur coats and looking like actual mob wives instead of what Instagram tries to tout. It's an ugly trend, and I don't understand why we're romanticizing being in a mob.
Is it here to stay?
Hell no. It's just another consumer trend. Am I the arsehole? Question of the week. I'm going to hit you, Matt. You don't know what question I'm asking, but I'm going to ask you one. And I think we need to give some people some advice because people are struggling.
I'm full of good advice.
Sure. Am I the arsehole for firmly telling my mom to stop giving me gold digging tips?
No.
I've been getting conflicting answers to whether I am an asshole or not for not telling my mum off for giving me gold digging advice. Stupidly told my mum what he does for work. We got there. My mum has been giving me tips on how to keep him satisfied because he has so many options. Him around because he's a high valued man.
That's interesting because trying to get with a high value man isn't necessarily gold digging, is it? It just means having higher standards.
Wow, okay. That's coming from a man?
Well, that depends. Is she only in it for the money, or does she genuinely like him and she's like, right, here's this guy, he's great.
I do want to debunk, though, this thing that's happening, like, on TikTok and around where everyone's like, this is how you get a rich man. This is how you do this.
The thing is, when you say gold digging, I think like sugar babying.
I think sugar babying is different, though.
Well, that's the thing. When I think gold digging, I think sugar babying. But when I think, oh, she's just got a boyfriend who's rich, her mum's saying, look, if you really like him, here's what you've got to do. That's completely different. And that I think is fair enough.
I feel like it's not the mum's place to be doing this. I get that. I mean, I get that the mum is like, she probably means well, but I don't think you should be trying to like push your daughter into being with a wealthy person. I feel like in this situation, it's a little bit better because she's already with him. So she's just like, oh, stay with this person. It's kind of the same as being like, oh, we really like your boyfriend. Like, stay with him.
See, what's the problem with that?
That's fine. But it's not fine when she like brings the money into it.
Are there examples of what she says?
This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to be with a man like that. Like, okay.
It sounds like the mum's in love with it.
I've got to say, like, the normalization of like going and finding a rich guy is just really weird. And
How do I find a rich guy?
I don't know.
Marry for love. You don't sound very convinced by that. That's
Marry for love. Yeah, because love like only lasts so long in my opinion.
But you think money lasts forever? That's
well, that also doesn't last.
No, exactly. So why marry at all if not for love or money?
Oh, good point.
Looks don't last
Looks
forever.
Also fade.
No.
Everything fades. That's the moral of the story.
But to answer the question, am I the arsehole for firmly telling my mum to stop giving me gold digging tips? I don't think so.
I would say no, you're not. I think it's so out of bounds and it's not normal. It should not be normalized to like this whole marry for money, old money thing. You're not going to marry into old money.
What do you think?
It's pretty much impossible unless you're from old money yourself.
What do you think of the whole sugar babying thing? Sugar mummying, sugar daddying?
Oh, it's horrific. Horrific. I'm glad you asked that because it's the normalization of sex work.
Is it sex work? Because I've heard stories where, they don't have sex. They just go out on dates and hang out.
And those stories are a lie. Those stories are a lie. Genuinely.
They're a lie?
Yes, they're a big lie. Anyone who tells you, and a lot of these girls that are getting on TikTok, getting on the internet and saying, oh, I earn $2,000 a month by just going to dinners with this old man.
A premium escort.
It's not true. They are doing a lot more than just going to dinners, and I can tell you that much. Money is not free. It is not just given out like that. The sugar babying industry, it's become completely normalized for some vague, crazy reason, maybe sexual empowerment or whatever lie we're telling ourselves as women. It's not true. It's like a complete sadistic reverse of what actually should be going on with women and how women should empower themselves. It's insane.
But they're getting a load of money.
Yeah, but they're having to exchange sexual favors. That's fine if that's what you want to do.
That's interesting. If you were a feminist, you would be like a sex negative feminist, wouldn't you? Because the feminist response to that would be it's empowering for a woman to control her body.
Yeah, but you're not really in control if the man is paying you to do all those things.
Well, yes, I suppose so. But then that's the sex negative feminist perspective, isn't it?
I'm not sex negative, but I do think that I've seen 18-year-old girls going and becoming sugar babies, and
it's a bit weird, man.
Well, call yourself a sex worker because that's what you are. You're not a sugar baby. That's a very like sort of
sex worker is also quite a progressive term, isn't it?
It's a very infantile way of looking at something that's actually a very dark industry with a big underbelly.
Actually, that's a good point, isn't it? Sugar baby. That's got quite a
sweet,
it's like a sweet name, isn't it?
Yeah, you're like a little. Yeah. Oh, it's like so innocent, but really,
I didn't realize they were having sex. I thought it really was just
trust me.
We go out on a date
believe
thing.
Anything you see. Anyone watching this, don't believe anything you see. Those people are definitely exchanging sex for money.
So should I unsign myself up to those sugar baby websites?
Take yourself off those sites, Matt. Take them off now. Unless maybe that's what you want to do. Because in 2024, we call it empowerment of your own body. Do what you want. Ridiculous. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the VoyerPOD. This has been a great episode. Matt, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
A really good episode. I think we've unpacked everything we've wanted to unpack. Please leave any suggestions or comments down below wherever you're watching this. Follow us on the VoyerPOD. Matt, where can we find you?
Matt_Thornton_01.
On Talk TV quite a bit. He's a very famous character on there.
No, I'm not. And that's top secret.
All right, never mind. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.